Jay-Z and Beyonce take out $57 million loan on California mansion. They reportedly first purchased their mansion in Bel Air for a whopping $88 million back in 2017. It goes without saying that Jay-Z and Beyonce know what they're doing when it comes to cash, right? Said according to Daily Mail, however, they recently made a curious financial move that has raised the eyebrows amongst fans. Reportedly, they've taken out $57.75 million mortgage on their mansion in Bel Air. This brings their borrowing total to $110 million on the property. So they're borrowing $110 million as a loan on the property. I don't know that, on the side note, I don't know that any house is worth that. What do you guys think about that? Because I always think of property, when I'm buying property, I always think of it as who has the, like, it's not that nobody has the money to buy that, because there's a lot of money out here. It's that the person that has the money to buy this also has the money to buy other things. And that's what makes it. If I have $110 million to spend on this property, I have $110 million to spend on other properties. So you got to kind of be aware of that, to me, but that's a whole nother topic. It says they first purchased the property in 2017 for $88 million. They kept it when they decided to buy another California home for $200 million. There's also a thing, which I'll talk about later, but sometimes buying real estate relieves tax debt. So that's another thing. Says they now have another 30-year loan with a 5% interest rate on the first 10 years. This makes their monthly payment $310,000. They took out a 30-year mortgage for $52.8 million with Goldman Sachs at a 3.5 or 3.1% rate in 2021, and those payments come out to $226,901 per month. I don't know how they have all this financial information on these people. I don't know how these reporters get this type of information. Like, where did y'all get all these numbers? To put people business out there like that. It's crazy. But says reportedly Jay-Z and Beyonce are also paying a staggering $100,343 per month on property taxes for their Bel Air home. And that's on top of the cost of staff and maintenance. That's another thing. One thing that when I bought this mansion that we in right now that I'm recording this from, this is my first mansion, and when we got this one, I didn't realize how much like staff and stuff like that has to walk around. Like that's another. You almost have to add it to your utilities because the property is so big that you can't maintain it by yourself. You have to have. I got 4 gardeners. I have to. Got 50 palm trees on the property. You gotta have a team of people working the property. My wife like, yo, I need somebody to help me clean this house every month. Like she like, baby, it could be one person, but I just need somebody to do this with me. Like she can't. It's too much. You know what I mean? I didn't realize how much, and maybe one day I won't live. I don't know, because I like living at home like it's home. I don't like a facility. I just told my gardeners, like, man, y'all gonna have to start coming a little less. Like, I'm gonna have to change y'all schedule, because I don't like the traffic personally. I don't want to come home and see it and it feel like a facility every day, all the time. So anyways, what does this move mean? Right? People want to know, what does this mean? Does this mean they broke, Will? I don't think it means they broke. I think it's probably like they're probably structuring their finances a certain way, because here's the first thing, like it could give you financial flexibility and leverage. So that's the first part of it. Right? They first bought the property for $88 million, then they refinanced it with $52.8 million. Then now they're doing a $57 million loan, and that's how they get to the $110 million. But it frees up tens of millions of dollars in cash and gives them more flexibility to invest in other stuff. Right? So to us, it sounds like, oh, it's just more a loan, but it's a liquidity move. It's like I get more money that I can invest in other things. without selling my assets, right? Look, um, income follows assets. The accumulation of assets. When you get to a certain number, the bank don't look at it like they owe us. They start looking at it like we're in business with this person. Like the bank will look at you if you borrow 300 million dollars from the bank, they looking at you like a business partner, not a person that owes them money. We are invested together in whatever you're doing at that point. Also, when you have assets, you can always borrow against them. So if my loan is $110 million, that makes the property worth $110 million. Now I'm worth $110 million. And I have a $110 million asset that if I default on this, you can take this. So the bank love that kind of business. So they might be, trying to free up some money so they can have the flexibility to invest in other stuff. You never know. I know Jay-Z is trying to build a casino right now. So that was reported. He's trying to build a casino, so maybe he needed to restructure some things in order to, do that. Also, it was their interest rate. So the new mortgage, according to these reports, the new mortgage comes with a 5% interest rate, right? And what makes people curious about it is because it's like, well, now your payment is $310,000 a month. I think the article said, and it was like 200 something before. So the reason why would I even do this? Is because even with the higher payments, if they put the funds into higher yielding assets, like investments or businesses, they can still beat the interest spread long term. Right? So like they might, I'm gonna get a higher payment over here, but I'll be able to get these investments over here that are gonna beat the 1.5 or a little bit over 1.5% that we're gonna have to spend. So we might make more money by having a bigger asset and being able to restructure the money. So I don't think that this is a move because they losing money or because they broke. I think it's a move to restructure things to be able to borrow more money. I think Jay is trying to build that casino. I believe. I think that's what it is. And I think people are overreacting to, what it is. And obviously, if you don't know nothing about real estate and having a decent amount of money, taxes. Yeah. Man, buying property and using debt strategically, it reduces tax liabilities. So that's always a thing that you got to consider when people do stuff like this. But other than that, it's not really too interesting a story to me. I think that they just restructuring things just so they can have more money. You know what I'm saying?